It occurs to me that we're given stories and we're generally given the interpretation of them as those who tell the story, share the hearing of the story, emotionally react to it. And I haven't read anything like this anywhere, though it may show up in my reality later to affirm this, because that's what usually happens. But going out on a limb here, we're given the story of Adam and Eve in the garden, and so many are still stuck on the idea that, she literally ate a piece of fruit. Like, it was an apple. No, it was a pomegranate. Like, in the scriptures, we're always told fruit represent works. It's the results, the produce of our planting, our acting, the work of our hands. And trees are spirits. So it was a spirit doing something in the spirit of. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, free will and not wanting to abide by the rule that the Father expression of Abun, of God, set for Eve and Adam. But then we have to think of ourselves as children. We come into this world and we feel so small, and we can't recognize our own gifts or see our own light, because we have these bright lights around us, and street lights and parking lot lights are shining over us. We could turn on a flashlight and it's not adding light to anything from our perception. Like, what good's a flashlight in a well-lit parking lot? So we don't see our own light. And wouldn't it be just like a child to look at all the full-grown spirits around them with long histories and all this beauty, not recognize our own and say, wow, I want to be as big and brave and strong as you are? Because they were told the stories, oh, you came across this place, it had been destroyed by war, and you built it up from nothing. Where are Adam and Eve going to emulate God and do such an admirable thing, have so much significance? They're in a perfect place. Nothing needs fixing. Nothing needs creating. And so, of course, their soul, not aware of what it entails, like my children, you're big, you're so strong, you're so smart, I'm never going to be like you. So their heart yearns to be like me. And I tell them, you do not want to be like me. You do not want to go through what I had to go through to be like me. But is anything going to stop a child with the purity of that desire? Because that's not a lack of appreciation for the beauty of the Garden of Eden. It's not hatred or resentment for anything about the more mature spirits. It's a desire that becomes desperate. And there is nothing in heaven or earth that is going to stop that. Everything from creation is born of desire. And not all desires evil. It's not with evil intention. It's like, I desire for, someone who I would call a neighbor. They would just be a street person. Somebody would call them the local homeless person. I would like to see them have money in their pocket so they can fulfill what they feel they need. Because I know if I give that money to an agency, that the people working in the offices are going to get most of it, and then they're going to take donations and just give crappy stuff, used stuff, day-old food that's going to mold, stuff that a homeless person can't prepare because they don't have the place to cook, to keep things refrigerated. Just, it doesn't work out that way. And so I would like to see them have money. But I know that they're going to take that money and first they're going to ease their pain. Whatever they do to ease their pain, they're going to go for that. And maybe that will lead them to hurting somebody else. And then that will end up with them in jail or somebody else in bad circumstances. And even if they intended to get something to eat, something warm to wear with the rest of the money, it's not going to go to that. It could be stolen from them. It doesn't do them any good in jail. Yada yada. So my sincere desire for somebody else could lead straight to hell. So some things are not changeable. What that person needs more than anything is consistent connection and having their needs met consistently, so they can take down the walls, they can open up, and they could choose and make more healthy choices. Anything less than that is a band-aid. So not all desires, not all choices are born out of selfish willfulness and lack of appreciation and what every other reason. Oh, they're sinful, they were evil. They were made in the image of God, so then God must be evil. Just saying. Instead, I like to perceive it as all of creation is growing up with us. It's all moving to the fullness of itself. A harmonious appreciation of all aspects, born of the desires, with healthy expressions of those desires. For example, a young woman came to me and she's like, oh, me and my friends were going to go burn down this house. I knew reacting wasn't going to be. So I just said, oh, because it was a vacant house. She said, it's a vacant, empty house. We're just going to burn it down. We want to see something burn. I was like, okay, yeah, an empty house, burn. But what if that catches the house next door on fire and there's a baby in the house and the baby dies? Oh, she says, I guess we'll go find something better to do. And then she comes to me and she says, I want to be raped. Again, holding back the reaction, just, okay. But I think what you mean is you want to be embraced without reservation, without hesitation, without the doubt and the beliefs that would taint such an embrace as ugly and a sin and bad and awful. I think you just want unbridled passion. Oh. And she walked off to consider it. People say, oh my God, I gotta make the money. I gotta pay the insurance. Oh, if anything happens to my house and it burned down, I couldn't replace it. We would be homeless. We would be on the street. I need insurance for my car. Oh my goodness. If I don't, I'll lose the registration. Oh my goodness. And then if I try and drive it to get to work, I'll lose my license. And we don't want insurance. Nobody wants to go to work to give somebody money that maybe in case one day something bad happens, they might cover it, because we all know insurance policies don't always cover everything like we're under the impression that they might. Nobody wants that. What they want is a sense of security. To feel secure in what they've created for themselves. Countries build up arsenals to make sure that they are intimidating enough that another country without as big a weapons won't come and take their land, take their people. Basically, the people at the top are worried about themselves, their families, their money, their property. But as a side effect, the rest of us get that protection as well. Because really, we are their cattle, we're their herd. So they want to protect, they want to be the ones to decide how much we're hurt and where, when, and how. They'll bring us to the slaughterhouse when they're darn and good and ready. Huh. Oy vey. But we don't want nuclear weapons that are going to explode in our backyard if something goes wrong. We don't want to put all the resources in protecting, maintaining, and developing all those weapons. I mean, some people want the excitement, the stimulation, the mental, oh, we can do this and we can do that. You know, it's delight, filling the brain past the average boundaries, I suppose. Some people, they're into that kind of intellectual stimulation, driven to that or by that. But no, we all just want a sense of security and what we've created for ourselves. And so when we look at the choices that people make, present, past, or future, it may serve us to allow for a different perception of what might have motivated them. I mean, if you're sitting there at the gates of heaven and Eve is sitting next to you and she's allowed in, are you going to sit there and go, what? Why is she and she's the cause of the downfall of all mankind? She was evil. She was a whore. She just didn't want to have sex with her husband. She didn't want him on top. Like... Alright, so I guess you'd prefer hell. Because that girl's going to heaven. And of course, there are different interpretations of what the eventual reality is. So, you know, whether it's paradise on earth because the meek shall inherit the earth, or a paradise in the heavenly realms. That's not to do with anything. That's just an illustration. Even Yeshua taught that, you may be surprised, people are going to come before him, but Father, I did these wonderful works in your name. I performed these miracles in your name. I preached in your name. And he's going to say, get away from me. I don't know you. One illustration that comes to mind is people, they hear, Yeshua said, if somebody slaps you on the face with their right hand, turn the other cheek. And we're taught by the church that wants to keep us meek and malleable and taking it up the butt for them. And of course, they're going to handle the money because it's evil. It's the root of all evil, and it's not for us to handle. They got the strong enough power to handle the money for us. That's why, you got to pay and tithe, and, they'll perform services like the last blessing if somebody dies and the baptism and stuff. Like, you got to give the money to them. But, yeah, you need to turn the other cheek. That's what that is. No, you go back to the historical significance of it. The original meaning of that was somebody could slap you with their right hand and they were a righteous, just person, supposedly. But if somebody slapped you with the left hand, that was an evil slap by an evil person. And so when Yeshua said, turn the other cheek, it was like somebody come and does something to me. And I go, so that's how you are? That's what you want to do? Well, if you're going to do that, go this far. Slap me on the other side of my face. You're going to steal that from me? Take my shirt too. Here. How far do you want to take that? How low are you that you would actually slap me in the face and think that it was a just thing to do, that you are a righteous individual? That's what that meant. Not, oh, just take it. Just take it. Turn the other cheek. Let them hit you again if they need to. No. So again, the point of this is not everything means what we think it means. And when we reach for a different reason for an action than what we would attribute the reason behind that action, then we come like Yeshua. Then we become like God. Then we are free. Because we are not a slave to judgment. We become equipped with discernment. I'm going to drink this healthy beverage instead of that one because I discern the healthy is better for me, my body. And what's good for my body is good for my psychology. And when my body and my psychology are good, then I'm right with spirit. Like, that sort of thing. I think you get what I mean.